Thank you, everyone. The meeting will be called to order at 6:06. All rise for the pledge of allegiance, please. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll have just one moment of silent prayer. Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Covina?
Here.
Commissioner Diaz?
Here.
Commissioner Flowers? Commissioner Gutierrez? Commissioner Mason? Commissioner Patel?
Yes.
Commissioner Torres?
Here.
Commissioner Velez?
Present.
Vice Chair Fisher?
Present.
Chair Munoz?
Present.
We have four. I have no speakers.
Item number 1 on the agenda is the approval of our meeting minutes. We'll take just a few minutes to look over the meetings from our previous, the minutes from our previous meeting. Are there any corrections or comments regarding the minutes? So at this point, it would be recommended that we approve the minutes from our meeting of May 14th.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Vyas. May I get a second? Thank you, Commissioner Patel.
Doing a roll call? Or?
Yeah, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cavalion? Commissioner Diaz?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Flowers? Commissioner Gutierrez? Commissioner Mason? Commissioner Patel?
Yes.
Commissioner Torres?
Yes.
Commissioner Velez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Fisher?
Yes.
Chair Munoz?
Yes.
The vote passes. 7-0 with 3 absent.
Okay, moving on with our agenda, we'll move on to new business. And on our agenda is the introduction of the Community Services Deputy Director, Susie Perez.
Good evening, Commission and Chair Munoz. At this time, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to all of you Deputy Director of Community Services, Ms. Susie Perez. She has been with the City of West Covina previously, left for a brief period of time, and we are welcoming her back. She's bringing new ideas and new experiences and tagging that along to the history that she already has with her knowledge base. And I'll just give her a few minutes to tell you a little bit more about herself. And I'm excited that she is a member of the team and she will be serving as your liaison from this point forward. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. As Marcian mentioned, my name is Susie Perez. Just a brief history. I have 24 years of experience in local government, specifically Parks and Recreation Community Services. All the way from being a rec leader to now a Deputy Director of Community Services. I've touched most facets within the department with the exception of, I would say, aquatics. which, we don't have an aquatics program here, but in the Parks and Recreation field. I'm very excited to be back. I take great pride in internal and external customer service, and I look forward to leading the team of the Community Services Department and also working directly with each and every one of you moving forward. So thank you. And
Welcome back.
Any questions?
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
We call you a boomerang.
Right? And I like that.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back. So.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Item number 3 on the agenda is presentation on email procedures.
At our last commission meeting, our IT manager, Will Trujillo, was here, and he had given a presentation about city emails. We went over the policy at that time and provided all of you with an acknowledgement form. I believe that everybody that is here tonight did sign that acknowledgement form, which allowed us to go ahead and move forward so that we could activate email accounts for you. I know during the previous week or the prior week, Deb had sent out some communication as well as some follow-up information regarding access to your emails. We do have a couple commissioners who aren't here tonight who still need to decide if they're going to sign the acknowledgement form and if they want city issued emails at their disposal. Now, it's not mandatory, but it is highly recommended because it serves as not only a vehicle for us to continue our communication with you, but as a reminder, when you are utilizing your email accounts, it can become a subject to a public records request. So when you are using the city email account, it's a little bit easier, cleaner to turn those over should you get requested that information. And then again, it does keep with the flow of communication. And also, as you interact with members of the public, you can use that email address for them to provide whether it's questions or other types of contacts and communications to you. So we do feel that it is a benefit, but it's not being forced upon you. So I wanted to make that abundantly clear. If there are any questions that any of you have in regards to the process, we would be happy to answer them.
So now the notifications from Deborah will be through there?
Yes, correct.
That's good.
Correct. Once you've activated your email, so we're really trying to encourage you, for those that have signed the acknowledgement form, to please log on. Deborah has your passwords. She'll provide those to you. It'll let us know if you have any issues logging on. We have run into a couple small issues where we've been able to fix them. And then immediately when you log on, there is an email, I want to say within the first couple emails, if there's a training. I think, Gia, you've taken the training, Robert, you've taken it as well. And it's just something that we all need to participate in. Okay. Any other questions?
A good idea. A lot of email comes in, so you separate.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you mentioned a training. Where do you hold the training, and is that on how to get your emails and stuff like that?
So in one of the emails that Deb had sent out, there is a step-by-step guide on how to access your email.
Oh, okay.
And then once you've accessed your email, there is an email inside your email with a link to a training. It's an online training. And that training is specifically for phishing emails, how to identify safe emails as opposed to emails that are going to expose the city to malicious attacks, if you will.
Would that be just community services issues or for the city as a whole?
It's up to you. We really want you to be able to use that as a means of communicating with the public in regards to your position on this commission. So that is the way that Deb's going to, once you've logged on and accessed it, that is the way that Deb is going to send out communication moving forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you need assistance, please let us know so that we can absolutely provide that to you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No other questions. Thank you for that. Moving on to item number 4, an overview of the landscape maintenance district, presented by Mr. Lopez.
Good evening,
Good evening. Welcome.
Commissioners. Tonight I'm going to be doing a little presentation on the districts, on which maintenance districts. It's a just a broad overview of what we do. Some of it I'll be repetitive from you, and I'll do a little bit of background on it. So, what is an L&D, or the landscape maintenance district? So it's a special district where it's provided, it's formed to provide benefits to property owners in a certain area. It's opportunity for them to pay for enhanced improvements to their specific area, to their medians, to their hillsides, their lights, their sidewalks, in a specific area where they live. The city currently has 9 districts, which include a sewer district, a lighting district, medians, citywide trees, and then there's 5 specific landscape areas for hillsides and sales or sidewalks. Those would be areas districts 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7. In the map you see little color-coded areas. Those are the landscape districts for our hillsides and our sales and sidewalks. Next slide, please. Last year, in November, the city began an 18-month hillside maintenance program to address the hillsides in some districts that have been overgrown for 20 or 30 years and no maintenance done whatsoever on the hillsides. The brush, you can tell on the next another picture of that. The hillsides were overgrown dramatically by bushes and trees and brush that wasn't touched for many, many years. We are going through each hillside and pretty much removing a lot of the growth down to a reasonable height that we can maintain moving forward. Merchants are contract doing the work on this. Where's the first one?
Sorry.
Merchants is doing all of our maintenance for removing the brush at this time. They are going through all the districts and hopefully after 18 months they'll address all the hillsides that were overgrown, and then from that point forward we can start maintaining them a little more reasonable height. They are going back and addressing some of the areas that we've done now. Specifically Woodgrove Park, they began there back in November, and they've gone back since then and maintained the area again. Because it does go pretty quick here in California.
Do you know if is that the same photo? Sure.
That's the exact same area, yes. So on the left-hand side, that's actually Shadow Oak Park. So on the left side, that's what it looked like. And then on the right is after they went in there and trimmed it. It actually looks a lot better now than then. This is actually when it first got removed. I didn't have the handy picture with me what it looks like now. But it is starting to come back now and grow. And it is kind of looking really nice actually. There's head.
When was this picture taken?
That was taken probably April when they went in there and removed all that.
What exactly is this?
Shadow.
So what kind of approach are we taking? Are they just completely clearing everything out, or are they trying to save the plants and then trim them down?
So what they're doing with the overgrown brush is there's trees, if there's what you call volunteer trees, where they fall and they start growing in the street, we're removing those. We don't want volunteer trees. We want hedges, we want brush that we can maintain at a 4-foot height. The goal is to keep everything at 4 feet. To eliminate people from hiding behind there, building encampments, which I'll address a little bit after this. Encampments going in there. So we want to mitigate those issues by keeping everything at 4-foot height.
You're also mitigating fire concerns.
Yeah,
You're doing
fire
some brush
concern,
clearance
yes.
as well.
It all kind of goes hand in hand. With
So are we
fire.
going to have to replant, or are we just going
No,
to?
we're not doing any replanting at this time. They're removing, and there's actually a lot of brushes coming through or they're coming back.
Okay.
If you actually drive by Shadow Oak right now, you see this. It looks a lot different. Actually, it's really nice.
Okay.
Woodgrove Park also, when you first moved in and trimmed it back, it was like scorched earth. It just like there's nothing there. And people were a little upset about it because it looked pretty bad. But give it a few weeks, couple months, it's coming back. And it's actually looks really nice.
Do the slopes have sprinklers on it?
No, they do not have sprinklers. Some of the slopes do have sprinklers that were put in when they first got introduced, but most of them have been broken, damaged. It shut the water off.
So you're not replacing?
At this point, we're not doing any of that right now. We're just focusing on removing all the hedges and overgrowth.
Do we still have the plans or are they lost?
For those irrigation,
The landscaping
I'm
plans.
assuming they're all gone.
Okay.
Are the roots still there?
I'm sorry?
I said, we cut them down, but are the roots still there where it's?
So the volunteer
growing
trees,
back,
yes,
right?
it's all there. And what we're doing with merchants is we're having them go in there and remove everything first. And after about a month, they go back and trim up what was coming back up and removing the volunteer trees at that time. Right now, the big focus is to remove all the overgrowth at that point.
So that's been preventative fire.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And you'll see in the next slide or so, homeless encampments that are being developed in these areas. Next slide. So here's an example. This is over on Amar behind the 399 Pizza, just west of Azusa. There was a large encampment there, probably about 30 to 40 people were living up there in that hillside. A lot of these came from Woodgrove Park. They were there. We removed a large encampment there, and then they moved over and ended up here. And some of them ended up in Shadow Oak. And as we removed the hillsides, they're moving to a different location. So we're kind of chasing the homeless to different areas.
10 in the Grand Avenue?
This is on Amar and Azusa.
Which one?
Amar and Azusa.
Where?
Behind the 399 Pizza, the 399 Pizza on the corner of Amar and Azusa.
Oh, yeah,
Right behind there was a large
like
encampment.
where Walgreens is.
Yes, Walgreens behind there. We removed about, on this specific hillside here, we probably removed 2 40-yard bins worth of trash that they had brought in there. Couches, mattresses, just trash. It was just pretty bad up there.
Did they have tents there too?
Yes, they had tents, they had pallets, they had, you name it, they had it up there.
Do they cook up there like fires and campfires?
We didn't see any signs of cooking, but I'm sure there was. After we removed this whole section, like I said, 40 yards worth of equipment, of trash, there was a second income that we didn't see just north of there that the residents called a week later, and we found another encampment right next to that one. That second one, we couldn't get to it from the street. We had to go to the residents behind on top of the hill to access that. But yes, the overgrowth is just a place for them to kind of hide and build encampments. So we're trying to address that with the Open Hope team. So we work with them in connection with Hope team, and they'll call us and we'll call them, and we work together on community or eliminating these encampments. Next slide. So as far as the trees, currently they are not on a maintenance plan. We're doing trees on the hillsides on as-needed basis. So when people call in for overgrown tree or large tree, we'll go in there and schedule it for trimming or removing. But we have removed about close to 500 trees in the last 2-3 years of high-risk trees. They either are dead or splitting or tilt or falling over. So we are addressing the high-risk trees in the landscape districts and in the citywide. But in the districts, there are a lot of trees that are not part of the maintenance plan. We're trying to get those into a maintenance program where we can maintain them on a 3 to 5 year basis, depending on the location of the trees inside the trees. We're also working on reducing, back to the slide, sorry. We're also working on reducing trip hazards on the sidewalks in the districts. There's FIFA sales down in District 2 and 4, where there's sidewalks behind people's properties that connect to different areas. We're addressing those sidewalks also and trying to get them to mitigate the trip hazards and liability for the city in those areas. And we're currently working on getting some kind of program to get those addressed at this time.
Any of those already has sidewalks that are
This,
different by
yeah,
by
displaced tree roots or leaks, water
There's
leaks.
many of those
think,
everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of trip hazards that we're working on. We did get a report back recently on the sales, which is the area over there. But the city's having a large ADA inspection citywide for trip hazards. And we get that finalized. We'll get both studies together and get a plan together to get those.
How long will that take?
The ADA inspection, they're probably about a third of the way done with the city.
How long is it, what's the third? How long is it?
Oh, God. few months, probably another 6 months to get that completed. They're doing citywide, they're doing all the facilities, all the parks, all the
And how often do
sidewalks.
we get that done?
This is the first time that's done it in, I think, ever.
It's never been done?
This is the first time they're doing it. So that's gonna be a really comprehensive program that's gonna show us how bad our sidewalks are. And they'll use that for future CIP programs to get them addressed. And my hope is to address schools, hospitals, high volume areas first, just because that's where the most liability is. Next. So here's kind of future goals for the LNDs. Obviously, preventive maintenance on all LNDs, mitigate any kind of overgrowth quickly and keep them maintained at a 4-foot height. Put the trees on a 3 to 5 year cycle to address all the overgrown trees and get them maintained properly. Want to reduce and eliminate homeless encampments and all LNDs because they do kind of hinder the neighborhoods, going in and out of the hillside. So want to eliminate those. Want to have a proactive approach to sidewalk maintenance. We want to address check out as soon as possible. We want to find them before people find them themselves. So we want to be able to be proactive on that. And also look at drought tolerant landscape. Talking about sprinklers. If there are sprinklers, what can we put in there that will grow with no water or little water? So we want to kind of do some kind of program with that. So I think that concludes my presentation. If any questions?
I have a question
Yes.
that I've always tried to figure out. Would, say, like if we have the hillsides or whatever, which is more cost effective? If we water it once every 3 weeks or something to prevent the fires, or to pay for the fires in the houses, if a fire does come, and pay for repairs of the houses and housing people and doing all of that?
Obviously, the watering is a lot cheaper.
Yeah. I just don't understand why we don't, I mean, I know we're in a drought, but it seems so much more reasonable to do that.
Logistically, we don't have the tools to water hillsides.
Yeah.
Besides having the fire department go in there and just close them down.
Yeah.
Which I doubt they'll do. But that's what the reason we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, that's
to
good,
reduce,
it's
to
admirable.
reduce the growth, obviously. And future, in the future, I gotta talk about putting landscape, drought tolerant landscape. Drought tolerant landscape a lot of times is also fire resistant.
Like Vegas.
Is,
A lot of Vegas is drought tolerant.
yes.
That's good, thank you.
You say there's 9 districts that are in charge of this. How do you say that again?
So there's 5 maintenance districts that apply to this for the landscape maintenance, but there's also 4 different ones for sewer assessment district. So the city pays the sewer assessment citywide for sewer maintenance. A lighting district that pays for the street lights, the whole area. The medians, so all the medians in the streets, there's a charge for that, for maintenance on those.
Speaking of brush maintenance, if you can picture Sakuros on service, and that would be just Glendora, right in front of Kentucky Fried Chicken, or the cleaners.
Yes.
Can you picture that?
Yes.
There is a brush. If you're driving a service and you're going to make a left turn on Glendora, you cannot see the traffic approaching. You have to inch out, and that needs to be, it needs to be taken out. Because it's a matter of time somebody's going to get killed in T-bone.
I'll make sure.
It's a matter of time. So, and he really, I was there today, and I had to inch out to make sure I was clear. So I needs to be taken care of.
Oh, one more thing to say.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank you guys, I don't know if it's your department, but where I live at Nogales and anymore, we have a welcome to West Covina sign. And so I drive into my community, and so the shrub had grown over the, tall over the sign. I put in a request on Monday, went out of town, came back on Saturday, and it was cut. So I appreciate that, thank you. And I used the digital thing to request it.
The GoGov. Yes. That's your best avenue for your request, go to GoGov.
Yeah, thank you.
I have one question. But there are a lot of homeless people there. If you can provide them garbage can or a black bag, if you talk to somebody that may reduce this one, and then the press company pick up the garbage, regular wages, educate them. If they live over there, they may help them out better.
In my experience, more trash cans lead to more trash, believe it or not. When you have a lot of trash
I see
cans.
all this whole filth is also not good for homeless people too, you know?
Yeah, they're gonna throw trash no matter what. To provide trash cans or not.
You can educate them, you
In
know?
my experience, more trash cans leads to more trash.
Well, I'm in a homeless community now.
Yeah.
And I'm traveling to study really. And I thought the suggestion, put something, that maybe indicate you live over here, it's okay. And the garbage can be in the street, put blah, blah, I don't know again, you know?
Yeah, no,
That's a suggestion.
No, trash is an issue no matter what we do. If we
They can,
put trash
they can
cans
put it in
out,
the garbage can, no? Okay.
honestly, in my experience, we had a park in my previous city where we had trash cans at just about every 50 feet. And there was still trash on the floor.
I worked still for 27 years, and you're right.
I know.
We're not making a difference.
They won't make it. Unfortunately, yes. You would think logistically, logically, more trash cans would reduce trash, but it doesn't. It's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. You get more chance to go through for cans and bottles, and they just throw everything out.
I know that they normally present it to the council, like all the numbers related to the districts, but how are we doing financially on all the districts?
Financially, we're doing okay. One of the District 1, I believe, has the most, does have quite a bit of money in there for that. The other districts, we have dipped in quite a bit due to trees. Trees has been a real issue, and I have the amount of money we spent the last couple of years. So 22-23, we spent about $45,000 in tree remove mitigations. Last year we spent about $99,000 in tree mitigations in the districts. So we are putting a lot of money into trees. A lot of those calls, a lot of that money is called is after hours calls for fallen trees or emergency removals due to limbs breaking or hazards. So there is quite a bit of money spent on trees.
Not all that money came from the
District, from the
saved.
district, yes.
And when we remove the homeless, do we use the district funds to fund that as well, like the process of removing the homeless?
So everything that we do towards districts is coded towards the districts. So
Okay.
yes.
Any idea how many homeless people in West Covina?
I don't have the count for that.
This is a bit when we count one day.
We'll have
There is an annual homeless count that takes place. There's an annual homeless count that takes place traditionally in January
Oh, January.
in every city.
How many in January?
But we could probably find that number for you based off of January statistic. Was there a homeless count this
I believe
year?
it's less than 100.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. 140?
I'm gonna say about 80 something.
What did you say, 140?
It's 140 with 70 that were eligible to send help.
They were housed.
Okay.
The 70 that were potentially looking to be housed,
Got it.
but 140 was a total count. That's what we're
Thank you. Next.
Last question.
Question.
So then the one I asked about earlier about the plans for the landscaping plans, how are we moving forward without knowing what the assessments are based on? Because when we charge people for that district landscaping fee, it's based on, landscaping that was installed and how much it would be to maintain that. So it's tied to like a plan or a landscaping layout. So are we looking at trying to address that at some point and not having any plans for any of the districts?
I don't personally know if there was plans or not. There may be plans, like I said, I don't know. Maybe there might be irrigation plans also. We could look into getting, see if there are plans or what was used for the bases on the tracks. But moving forward, like I said, we do have a plan to address the overgrowth and reducing those and probably selecting the healthiest or the brush or the hedges that are there, the trees. We do have all the trees are tagged and we know which ones are on the districts, so we can pinpoint how many trees we have in each district. That's pretty easy. We have that already now, so we're going to move forward with those. But as far as landscape, I don't know. I don't know offhand if there are plans or not
Okay.
for those.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of.
There's a lot of trees and a lot of hedges and a lot of hillsides that we're working through.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you also take care of the palm trees or do you have someone special come in and do the training?
So palm trees are trained on a different cycle. Those are done every 2 years.
But does the city does
The
it?
West Coast Harvest does the palm trees first,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
That's more like every 5 to 7 years.
It depends on which ones they are, but some of them are every 2 years. I know on Lark Allen and Cameron, those large ones there, those are on 2-year cycles. Because those palm fronds just drop quite a bit. So we put those up to 2 years.
Roxanne, your name came up the other day with Les LaFroy about the trees that were removed from Cameron Park. You know, he wants trees planted there, where they're removed.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is anything that happened about that?
I'm gonna defer to Susie. I know that the senior softball had talked to Susie, and Susie has spoken with Jerry, so go ahead.
Yes, so there has been a conversation with Bob, is it Wired, Weird? And, what is
Weird.
Ward, thank you. And there was an email sent to Jerry, and where that tree removal happened, it has been approved for a tree to be replaced in that location. Obviously, it's not gonna be a full-size tree, but it's gonna have to work towards growing over the years, but that is in the works, yes.
A 5-gallon tree, a 10-gallon tree?
Yeah.
What kind of tree is replacing
Yeah,
it?
exactly, yeah. That was my next person thinking.
It would depend on what they willing to donate.
Okay,
If they willing to donate a 24-inch box, I would know those want a 24-inch box.
so you're looking for a donation?
No, they're donating it.
They're donating.
San Gabriel Valley Senior Softball Association
Yeah.
has agreed to donate the tree.
Do you put a request in for what you want, or
I'm
just
waiting,
accept what
I'm
they
waiting
want?
for West Coast Harvest to recommend a tree for us, because I don't want to just put any tree that's going to fail. I want to put something that's going to be matched what's there now and kind of.
So you'll make a recommendation?
Recommendations for
What
the.
are you thinking? What do you kind of think? Because we were talking about that just yesterday.
I don't know offhand. I we reached out to West Coast Harvest with 2 weeks ago. You sent me the email or last week. So
How
we're waiting
long
for
will
them to
this
respond.
process take?
Once they get the tree, it's up to them how fast they can donate it. So whenever they want to get it for us. But I would recommend a no smaller than 24-inch box. That's decent size. It's probably like a 6-7 footer maybe. So anything smaller than that, it's not even worth it.
I just have a couple of questions with regards to some of the other questions that were asked. With regards to the encampments and the cost to your department in terms of the indirect cost of having to remove that, is that something that's already budgeted in your department budget, or is that an additional cost, or how does the city end up paying for that?
So we pay by not doing other services. So when we remove it from the encampment, we're talking about all hands on deck. So all my guys go to that encampment, and we'll lose from 1 to 2 days of maintenance.
So eventually it does.
It will
bite
impact, it does
your
impact,
budget
yes, it
indirectly.
impacts services, because we are pulling away from our regular maintenance duties to remove the cabinets.
The tricky part about encampments is that you can't always anticipate. To some extent, you do see them popping up, you do see them growing, you know that we're gonna take care of them.
Right.
But at the same time, because there is a fluctuation of numbers, and because camps do have a tendency, when you remove them from one location, they're gonna migrate to a different location. So that's where it becomes a challenge, especially in anticipation, when we're looking at other services and projects that need to be taken care of throughout the city. But maintenance does their part in addressing, go ahead.
And we do schedule those. I mean, we know what encampment, so like Hope to calls, hey, we got our encampment. If we're tied up doing a project, we will say, okay, we can't get to it this week, we'll get to it next week. We'll schedule it based on our availability. Because we don't want to pull away from a project we're doing either. We got sidewalk that's open, that we have to replace the concrete. We're not going to pull away for 2 days and leave an open hole in the sidewalk. We're going to get that done and completed. So we'll schedule it for our convenience.
That sounds reasonable. The other question I had is more maybe a statement with regards to the work that your department is involved in. If any other of the commissioners would like more information about projects that you guys have in the work, is all of this included in your capital improvement plan?
So, no, she's right, no. So you wanna think about, when we look at projects, not everything falls under the realm of maintenance. Maintenance is specifically what it is, maintenance. When we're talking about new infrastructure, we're talking about new structure, that's where it falls into the realm of engineering. Maintenance plays a role in the sense that they may make recommendations as far as how staff is going to work on, repair, maintain in the future, but engineering would play a role. There are some, very few actually, projects on the CIP that would fall under strictly maintenance.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't know if any of the other commissioners might have comments, questions?
One more, now that you mentioned the CIP, is Jerry gonna be the CIP guy now? Like what, for the CIP subcommittee we have?
We'll coordinate with you and to connect those dots, yes. One of the things that we're doing too, that the city has done, is they have released, or actually they're interviewing for, no, they're finalizing for a project manager. So that there's a little bit of a stall, I don't want to say stall, but they are waiting for to bring a project manager on board specifically for a CIP. I'm going to use your words, Jerry, get out of design. And I think that that was taken to heart very much. And so having a project manager that's specific for CIP projects, and that would include items that are within this body's jurisdiction, like playgrounds and parks and dog parks, so that they have that oversight of engineering's work. And as a reminder, our engineering services are actually contracted out, so it's not an in-house service that we provide. We contract via TransTech, and so having that project manager, it is management's opinion, as well as the city council's, that having an in-house project manager to oversee it is going to help to push those projects along. It's a missing link, and we
That position is
recognize
being
that.
hired?
Yes. Yeah.
And so is it possible to just have a future meeting set for the subcommittee?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Future meeting set for the subcommittee on capital improvements?
We can, yes.
If it's still in the process, maybe just some sort of educational meeting where we can be briefed on the current capital improvements and then the new people that are on the capital improvement subcommittee. I'm on it, but I've been on it before, so I'm familiar, but anyone else who's on the subcommittee could at least see all the capital improvements and download all that information.
We'll coordinate with Jerry for the time being.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, hearing no other comments or questions, I want to thank you very much
No problem.
for all of your information. Thank you for always being available too.
Yes, whenever you need, we have another.
Okay.
Real quick, Jerry, you didn't really have the opportunity to touch on it a little bit, but I would like for you just to highlight, I know we had a meeting a couple weeks ago about some of the items or the issues that have come up through the GoGov for the requested service app. If you wouldn't mind sharing some of those statistics quickly.
Yeah, off the top of my head. So when I started back in November, we had over 3,000 open requests there in the GoGov that were open, that were pending or not filled. Since then, we have dropped that number dramatically. The staff has done really good work in the last few months, addressing a lot of the open requests, closing out stuff that was not closed out properly. And right now we're down to about 400 open requests. So we dropped down.
Are they all landscaping or?
A lot of it has been trees,
Oh, trees.
a lot of potholes, a lot of bulky trash. Also, our daily calls have dropped quite a bit from probably roughly 60 to about 15 to 20 a day. So our numbers are decreasing as far as the GoGov and requests. And staff is doing really good. We're short-handed. We're based on the numbers, we're at about 30 requests per day per guy. So we're doing a lot of we're aggressively attacking the GoGov to get those numbers down. We are trying to be a proactive department, not reactive. So that's kind of been the approach that I've implemented in the department.
congratulations.
We're trying.
It's a big feat.
Well, I do have one more question. You just brought something to mind, and something Commissioner Diaz said. So you may or may not, your department may or may not be involved in the traffic part of streets in terms of street lights and things like that. Am I wrong, or?
We do a little bit.
So a couple of, maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, the pedestrian signal button light over in front of Edgewood, or Orangewood Park, connecting Orangewood Park to the Aquatic Center, for whatever reasons, one was inoperable, and then after a couple of weeks, it appeared that the buttons were removed. So there is no traffic stop there. So pedestrian pretty much jumps out on their own. So
We'll look at that.
I went ahead and I took photos of it at least 4 or 5 times, but I was becoming a little bit curious as to why the important parts to the pedestrian crossing were then removed. So, and that area is heavily used.
They get vandalized quite a bit. Our buttons, they're a target for kicking them, knocking them off, stealing them.
Wow.
Along with our bathrooms, they love taking doors down.
It's incredible.
They love breaking the toilet holder dispensers. They love knocking those things down. So that's buttons are one of the things that we have to address because they get vandalized quite a bit. But I'll look into that one.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering that in the face of that, would there maybe be a different alternative in terms of slowing traffic down there in the interim? Since there is no crossing guard, there is no button, and it's very, very busy in terms of traffic with just, it's like a pass-through, and there's folks rushing all over the place.
I do that walk quite a bit also. My son's a walker there at the complex, and so you use it quite a bit also.
Yeah. So I was just wondering if there was maybe an alternative to the buttons that might be a little bit less vandal-proof. Just my thought. Sorry. Thank you.
Mr. One more question for me. You did, quite say. Is your department involved or with red curbs and stop signs or speed bumps?
Red curbs, stop signs, yes. Speed bumps, no. But my crew paints the legends, because the stop signs.
How about extending the red curb?
It depends on the location.
No, I can trade me.
If you want to email me the location, I can look into maybe. You know, that's an engineering question too, because they have to kind of sign off on that. But yeah, if they sign off on it, we would take care of it. So I'll give you my email and my number.
Sounds great. Just for safety reasons.
Now for sure, I think we don't have any more questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 5, a presentation on Parks Make Life Better.
So at our last city council, July is considered our Parks and Rec month, and at our last city council meeting of July 2nd, the commissioners were invited along with city staff from the community services department to receive the proclamation from the city council recognizing July as Parks and Rec month, or otherwise known as Parks Make Life Better, which is a campaign from CPRS. Now this particular PowerPoint was put together by one of our full-time recreation coordinators, Miguel Quijado. He is the coordinator that works out of Palmview, and as a reminder, Palmview offers the adaptive recreation program. This PowerPoint was going to be shown at the city council meeting, but because in the interest of time, it was a marathon meeting, we did have to cut it short. So we wanted just to give an opportunity for you guys to take a look at the pictures and to view the PowerPoint, as well as the videos that are embedded in the PowerPoint presentation at this level. Again, the intent was to show it at the city council meeting, but unfortunately, in the interest of time, we couldn't. So we'll go ahead and walk you guys through. Do you want to read back this?
Sure. The California Parks and Recreation Society,
Society has released a statewide public awareness campaign, Parks Make Life Better, to inform citizens of the many benefits of utilizing parks, facilities, programs, and services. Now therefore be it resolved that the citizens of California recognize the importance of access to local parks, trails, open space, and facilities for the health, wellness, development, inspiration, and safety of all Californians. And be it further resolved that we declare the month of July 2024 as Parks Make Life Better Month.
And to the next slide.
It's really small.
Yeah.
I was I would have brought my glasses. Okay. This resolution recognizes the importance of equitable access to local parks, recreation, trails, open space, and facilities for the positive development of all Californians and their communities. Parks and Recreation supports safe, vibrant, attractive, progressive communities that make life better through positive alternatives offered in the recreational opportunities. Parks and Recreation creates memorable experiences through youth sports and enrichment activities, teen centers and programs, senior activity centers, adult fitness and enrichment programs, free community events, and beyond. And then your community services team consists of Roxanne Lerma, Assistant City Manager, myself, Vanessa E. Banez, Recreation Supervisor, Leslie Godinez, Community Services Coordinator, Leslie Bravo, Community Services Coordinator, Miguel Quijada, Community Services Coordinator, Clarissa Romero, Community Services Coordinator, Holly Smith, Head Cook, and Stephanie Gonzalez, Administrative Assistant 1.
Go to video. The majority of our workforce for community services is made up of part-time staff. The part-time staff not only work at the various events, but also staff 5 recreation facilities. And so those facilities include the Palmview Center, Cameron Park Community Center, Cortez Park Community and Senior Center, Shadow Oak Community Center, as well as the West Covina Sportsplex. Go ahead, Chance.
Parks and Recreation fosters social cohesiveness in communities by celebrating diversity, providing spaces to come together peacefully, modeling compassion, promoting social equity, connecting social networks, and ensuring all people have access to its benefits. Parks and Recreation strengthens community identity by providing facilities and services that reflect and celebrate community character, heritage, culture, history, aesthetics, and landscape. And parks truly do make lives better.
So thank you for
Good job.
thank you for giving us the opportunity to share the staff's work with you. But it's not just the staff's work. It's also a testament to the service that you provide as commissioners and as members of the community, because without having members of the community, we can't, or the city can't work together in order to provide programs and events and services that are reflective of our residents. So thank you for being, for your service and for coming together as a body. So thank you.
Thank you guys as well.
Questions, comments, concerns?
I'm very good.
Yeah, I wanted to just share how great you've been, Roxanne, since you've been in charge. I know you've been wearing a lot of hats, and now you have Susie. And I think before your departure prior, I remember talking to you about how good Susie was on camera because she would do some promotions for the city, and you've been doing that lately. So I think Susie could take that torch and maybe do some good videos and promotion for the Parks and Recs events. So I'm excited to have you back, and I want to thank all of you guys for all the work you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo what Commissioner Torres said. And really, just on behalf of myself, my family, my friends who frequent all of our parks, it's just wonderful to see how each department works very closely together. And whenever there are issues in the park, I have a couple little grandkids who are only 3 years old and 5 years old, and they love reporting to me anything that might be broken or graffiti, and they just love seeing me put it up on, take a photo, put it on the app, and then we come back a couple of days later and it's gone. So we visited another city, another park, and there was some graffiti inside of a little slide in one of those tunnels.
Yeah.
And so the kiddos ran up to me, and I had been on my phone, but they wanted me to go in there, or they wanted me to give them their camera, take a photo of it, my camera, take a photo, and then report it. And the city doesn't have the same app as West Covina.
Very
So they were very upset about the graffiti that was in this plate tunnel. So, but it's just wonderful what the entire staff does. But thank you very much. I'm excited that you're back.
Yeah, very good city. I live in South Hill area. It was the road that was graffiti. They keep like next day take care of it. Really beautiful.
We try to mediate it within 48
Good
hours.
city manager take good care of it.
The same segment, the park, the Cameron Park, in the following days. Oh.
And a big part of it too, like Cecilia was saying, and Commissioner Munoz, is reporting it, right? Because our users are our eyes and ears out there. So if you see something, reporting it, and also educating some of the users out maybe in the parks that aren't familiar with the app, you know, how easy it is to, you know, take a picture, you know, have it reported, and then it gets alerted over to Public Works. So thank you for doing that as well.
Right. Any other comments or questions? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Police department, I don't know.
Oh, no, that was postponed.
I don't know for any reason.
Oh, the police department. okay.
Yeah, we could,
They're all there, that's why.
yeah, we could discuss it. One more thing that popped in my head, the splash pad, like how parks make life better, right? So last summer, the splash pad wasn't working at Del Norte, and this year it has been. So you can, that's a prime example of how parks make life better, because I've been getting photos sent to me, posts on social media, like the impact it's had just being open and active and having the children enjoy it has, it's like very noticeable as opposed to last year. So it was great to have that going, and it's still going, and I think we're gonna have a water event there soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Any other comments or
Yeah.
questions?
Commissioner Torres, you texted me earlier today about the tour. At,
Yeah, we're gonna postpone it until
Yeah.
next time.
and I told you, but you know, I work 30 years for the police department, and so I wasn't interested in the tour. I mean, Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah, you had 30 years of
Yeah,
this.
so but I ran into Chief Bell about 3 weeks ago. And introduced myself to him. And we got to talking, and I told him, what I did, Commissioner Diaz, and I live up a service in Estelle, Locale. And I told him, I used to notice motorcycle patrol officers would patrol, because it's a 25-mile zone, but you'd get 50, 60 miles an hour. So I told Chief Bell, I said, oh, no, I would love to see motorcycle patrol here. Because we haven't done that in years. 3 days later, there they were, patrolling Estelle, pulling people over who were speeding. I said, yes, yes. Yeah, like, wow. I own breakfast, a cup of coffee or something.
It's sit out there and watch people get tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, back to our agenda. Item number 6 under continued business is an update on the Parks Master Plan.
Yes, and we just have a really brief update for you tonight. The proposals were due back on April 18th, so we did have 3 submittals. Staff did review those applications, and out of those 3, 2 have been invited back to interviews, which will be held the week of July 22nd. Outside of that, we really do not have any additional information for you. We are going to take the opportunity to meet with the 2 applicants, and then from there we will make our recommendations to City Council, and then we will come back to you, I'm assuming at the September meeting, with an additional update then. I'm open to any questions.
What sort of role will we have when it does come back to us in the September meeting?
So we're looking, one of the areas that we're really focusing on when it comes to the Parks Master Plan and selecting a firm, a landscape architect firm, is their ability to engage with the community, to conduct community outreach, and to interface with stakeholders. This body is a stakeholder, so we will be looking at this body to assist in providing guidance and input and some direction as appropriate. It does a Parks Master Plan, while it is heavily based in community services, parks and recreations. There's definitely engineering components to it. There's definitely planning components to it. There's financial components to it, code enforcement components to it. So again, as appropriate. In addition to that, one of the strategies that we will be using is also creating like a steering committee of stakeholders as well. So we will be working with the management team to develop criteria for those stakeholders. There will be an opportunity, almost as a subcommittee, for the commission to appoint or make recommendations for individuals to sit on that subcommittee. So those are the roles that the commission will play.
Is that to update the parks or the needs of the parks? Is that what it's for?
It's both. It's both. It's also it's a long-term planning document. It's also a document that sets standards for maintenance. It's also a document that compiles projects together because projects are needed in order to apply for grant funds. When you have projects that they call shovel ready, and what we mean by shovel ready is not just a location, not just a plan, but a project that has community buy-in and input. It makes it more attractive when we are applying for grants that are, especially those that are competitive in nature. More than ever, they're looking at community buy-in and community input and engagement. And those are coming up through the grant processes as higher sections for scoring, for obtaining points, if you will, when you're applying for competitive grants.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Would they that apply on to do the research for grants?
They would not apply for the grant. They can provide us the direction. They are going to provide the plan. But it will be the city responsibility to apply for the grant, whether that is with a staff member applying or through a grant writing
Do we have a
firm.
grant writer?
We do have someone on staff that can write grants. We had some direction from council to look into grant writing firms. Grant writing firms, I've worked with them before. I will tell you, when you have a good firm, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
It absolutely does.
We have nobody on staff that,
I did say we do have someone on
Okay.
staff that can write grants, but we're also looking, we have received direction from council to look into grant writing firms.
to subcontracted out.
You know, Roxanne, when you plan on that, there's a couple of people that I would like to recommend for grants. If maybe perhaps I can discuss that with you afterwards, what agencies that would be for.
Absolutely, and we would, if that is the direction that the city's going with the grant writing firms, we would we can have that discussion, and we would definitely reach out to them to submit a proposal. Absolutely, absolutely.
What's the timeline on the, so what happens after July 22nd?
So after July 22nd, we will select a firm that we will make a recommendation to council. That recommendation to council,
Would that be at the August meeting?
it would be the last meeting in August, since we do not have the first meeting in August, but that's it.
But it'll
That's
be
if
in
all things go according to plan. The latest would be September, but the goal is August.
And the steering committee how would that work then? So is that gonna be another subcommittee under our commission?
Like I said, we're developing the criteria for that. We'll treat it as a subcommittee in the sense that this body would have the opportunity to make recommendations for seats on it, but it wouldn't solely be community and senior services commissioners.
Okay.
So can you clarify something for me? We
Yes.
sent out an RFP, we had three respond, you've chosen two to do next, second interview. But you're saying that you're going to put the criteria together? Wasn't that criteria?
No, for the steering committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a steering committee is made up of stakeholders in the community. That's separate and apart from the
Okay,
firms.
thank you.
You're welcome.
In that steering committee, the final appointments are gonna be at the administrative level, or is that gonna be a council?
I would like to keep it at the administrative level.
Oh, okay. Good.
Any other?
That doesn't mean that things could change,
Right,
but that's
yeah.
the goal right now.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on item number 6 on the park master plan? Hearing none, you'll have to speak louder with your mask on.
Oh, yeah, I can speak a little louder.
And hearing none.
This is you, Commissioner Torres.
Oh, yes, this is me, right?
Yes, this is
So
you.
we had the opportunity to hike Commissioner Diaz, myself, Councilman Contos, Commissioner Fisher. We hiked, I forget what date, but it was very early at 6 a.m.
Very nice.
Which was really enjoyable, I
It
thought.
was.
I don't know when the last time I hiked at 6 a.m. was, but it was really good. And we walked the entire route. So this is hopefully a solidified date.
Round trip,
Round
Yes.
you
trip.
walked it
Yes.
round trip.
Round trip. So it was an enjoyable experience.
It was.
We did come up with some ideas as far as maybe handing out snacks, waters on the way, different stations we could possibly set up at. And I think this is final, right, Roxanne?
Yep, this
Or-
is the route. We select, the only thing that's not, okay, is the time. I know you and I had talked, because you mentioned to me it was really nice doing it early.
Yes, yes.
So the only thing that's not is the time, but the July 20th is a firm date.
Okay, and then we're gonna do the round trip.
I'm sorry?
We're gonna do round trip.
Okay,
We're not doing the shuttle.
correct.
Okay.
I suggest early,
Yeah.
because it gets hot.
I have a question.
66.
When we were on the walk, there was evidence of homelessness up on those paths. And he said that Mike was going to take care of that. Do you know if that's been done?
It is on the schedule to take care of this.
So it hasn't been done.
This date is on maintenance's schedule. This date was solidified back in June. So they have confirmed for me that it will be handled and taken care of.
Yeah, and the first time we walked it, it was far worse.
Yeah, it was.
When we walked with Roxanne and.
For July 20th?
For July 20th.
7 a.m.?
Two? Yeah, great.
7?
Seven sounds good.
Yeah, so let's say 6:30, so we can get started at 7.
No.
I would say
If it's
8.
family, I don't think-
I would say
Yeah,
8.
8 a.m.?
Well, for like the general public, I'm guessing 8 would probably be the earliest.
What time did we start? We started 6 o'clock,
We
right?
started, but we're not the general public.
Yeah. That's also the Kiwanis stuff about today.
This is the date that we're gonna do it. And you can do both.
Absolutely.
You can do both, because this is early enough.
I would say 8 and then just advertise it as 7:30 arrival maybe.
There you go.
Check in.
We're checking.
7:30 check-in, but
Is this a Saturday?
anything earlier than 8, I'm fear that the attendance will be really
I'm
low.
just afraid that if we wait later, 8 o'clock, then we're gonna hit more traffic. There's gonna be more traffic and,
Well, I don't mind doing 7, I'm just afraid that the general public won't turn out that
Especially
early.
people with children.
Yeah,
hard to get
it's
them out
impossible
the
to
door.
get kids ready and get out and, so I would say at the earliest 8, and then we could say, try to check in by 7:30.
That'll work.
But if we
This
do
doesn't give us
7, I
much
have
time
a
to
feeling it's
advertise
just gonna be us.
Okay, so 8, right?
this is all just 10 days to advertise.
We're ready to
Yeah.
go.
I had a group of people that were gonna join us, but got canceled.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna come out that big.
Oh, yeah.
Parks and Rec.
No.
So is everyone okay with 8 o'clock?
Yeah, it's fine.
We
Has
did
the
not,
Rex made this sign?
no, we did not. Mr. Torres,
Oh,
What was that?
Robert made it?
the flyer.
What was the question?
I
Who
said,
made the flyer?
I drafted the flyer.
Oh, the reason I ask is that, I've been putting like, things that are going on in the community, just making it a little bit larger, a little more visual for my community where I live in. So if you could send me that, I can attach it to what I send out for, the rest of the people. So I update it every week. So we can advertise.
Oh, you're talking about the flyer itself? Just
Yeah.
send it to you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Once it's final, then.
So we agreed on the check-in time at 7:30 and the.
Depart at 8,
Party?
and then the date stays the same. I think that's it.
July 20th.
July 20th. That's a Saturday.
There's no shuttle.
That's a week from now.
No shuttle, but I think we did it okay, right?
Right,
When we went?
it's easy.
It should be okay.
Saturday.
I think you're advertising your route, and so people will make that determination if they can or cannot.
Right.
Can I make a suggestion on this flyer? That they know it's round trip, let's do arrows this way and arrows this way.
Round trip.
Just along the route, so they know
Okay.
it's a round trip.
Or where it says distance, you could put R2, no round trip.
Do you like them?
No,
Or am I gonna mess up your artwork?
It does say Malacca Park in back, but maybe,
that was what we were trying to do to avoid the corner on the map. Like, we just put and back on the, but it'll just,
Visuals,
it'll
people
just
will
get
look at a
them-
visual more than they will read.
Right. Maybe just one arrow on top and one arrow on bottom.
Whatever that's just my suggestion.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
It's a cute flyer.
It's, yeah. It's
Right.
bare minimum. My skills are not high level.
I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. I think you don't want it to be too busy where the message gets lost. I think it's direct and to the point. So I think you should be commended for your efforts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it looks like we're gonna be in about the 90s, the high 90s around that time.
At 8?
The 18th looks like 92. The earlier the better.
At 8 a.m. already, or?
Mhm. I just give you
Designated time,
the day at that far.
That's probably the high, so I'm assuming like
Yeah.
1 o'clock would be,
12.
yeah.
By 12, it will be that high.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with, if anyone wants to, if it's preferred to move it earlier, if everyone prefers that, the majority.
If it's at 6:30, I'm gonna let you know I'm not gonna be there.
Right. Yeah, I think 7:30 is fair, and then we leave at 8.
What do they have to do to check in? Just
I don't,
be there?
yeah, I don't.
We'll have waivers.
Hmm?
We'll have waivers.
Oh, you'll have waivers?
Yeah, we'll have waivers.
Should we put that on here? Should we put that on there? A waiver will need to be signed?
I didn't know we had waivers.
Yeah, we'll have them signed.
Did we have it the first one?
You did have them at the hike with the mayor.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I wasn't there, so,
you did have them.
okay. And then if, just plain devil's advocate, if they don't want to sign it, then they could still do it, right? It's a public trail.
It's a public trail, be separate from ours.
Okay, so just like follow 5 feet behind.
I'm not gonna comment.
Okay, so, yeah, that seems reasonable. So yeah, and so just to reiterate, if everyone can mark it on the calendar and try to make it, that would be helpful. And then to advertise to your groups, friends, family, neighbors, anyone you have that would be interested, that would help a lot with the attendance, just
Will you
because.
send us all the flyer
Yeah, yeah.
electronically, please?
And then I'll modify it, and then I'll just have you look at it, Roxanne, just make sure everything's good, and then we can
Yep.
post it after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I also have, there was a group, I think you might have seen them on West Covina Buzz.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
On West Covina Buzz,
Mhm.
there's a group that hikes.
Mhm. It's a new group.
I'm sure you've seen them post. And so I reached out to the person that runs that group.
Good.
And once I have the flyer finalized, I'm gonna send it to him. So hopefully his group.
And send it to George, and George will post it also.
Yeah. Cool, excited. Should be good. And if it's not a one-time thing, if, like we did, if anyone's interested, we could hike it themselves, or maybe just take a look at some of it before the actual date, if you want to get a better sense of what it looks like and the locations that are listed on the map, like the Ridge Riders, Cortez Park, and Jalapa Park.
Are you excited?
I'm excited, yeah.
You can't tell he's wearing the mask.
He's smiling.
Yeah,
I can see it in his eyes.
Smile
He's
with
smiling.
my eyes.
Yes.
So I think it'll be good, and then if we can, if not, I know we wanted to try to do 2 a year. If we can't get another one in by this year, then next year we can try to do 2 of these, or something similar. It doesn't have to be a hike
Probably
year.
November.
That was a great, beginning, and then you can plan out for future.
Yeah,
See how it works, see how, things look once we do it, and then plan out for the future.
I mean, and this is a very urban type hike, but West Covina has a lot of nice mountainous hikes that we can try to tackle later. Commissioner Munoz or Chair Munoz has been on some of those.
Yeah.
But there's one hike that goes from Heritage Park all the way to Walnut. And that one's really beautiful.
It's a little bit more challenging than this one.
Yeah, but the views when you get up, it's gorgeous views, and it's connected to the Shabaram Skyline Trail, the county trail. So that one's really beautiful. That's all I have.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions, suggestions? You know how to contact
Right.
Commissioner Torres.
Done.
Okay. Moving on to our agenda, ad hoc committee reports. I'll kind of go first. I sit on the homeless subcommittee, and that includes Commissioner Patel
Yes.
and Commissioner Mason. And we tried to pull together a small meeting in order to, one, discuss our roles as subcommittee members, and to discuss current issues that are impacting the city at the moment, as well as taking a look at the census data that was released with regards to the homeless count. So we were not able to meet, and so the homeless subcommittee will plan to meet maybe within another week and a half or so.
Soon, yeah.
Mhm. So that's just an FYI for everyone. Everyone will plan our meeting, and then whomever would like to join us, we'll let everybody know, and that would be, everyone's welcome. But it's a subcommittee meeting, mainly to get to know each other, and then to set some guidelines for the committee's role. So, thank you. That's the only committee report I have. Anyone else?
Yeah, most of in the committee are working or retired. You were 9 o'clock, remember?
No, I'm employed. I work.
Oh, so it's better to do evening or weekend, right?
Whenever. I'm very flexible.
How about?
I'm retired.
But you're super busy. I know you play baseball. I will send an email out to everyone.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
And then we'll
Every
come
day
up
I'm
with
invited
some
to do something.
dates.
yeah, let's meet and do some working, you know.
Right.
Thank
Uh,
you.
You're welcome, Commissioner Patel. Commissioner Torres, any reports on ad hoc committees?
No, just a reminder to see if you could work with Jerry on setting up the ad hoc for the capital CIP.
And we did the parks.
Okay.
Oh wait, I do have something. We met for the CDBG.
Oh, that's right, we sure
yeah,
did.
That's a big one.
Yeah, we heard presentations from all the nonprofits that applied for the CDBG money. That was great, and we ended up awarding or recommending to award evenly to all the organizations. And I think that went to council already, right? Yeah, the last meeting.
Good.
Yeah, flew through the radar.
That was a long meeting.
Yeah.
It was very long.
So that's all I have.
For our fellow commissioners who are not aware, the Community Development Block Grant is federal funding. It's a small amount of money that the city of West Covina receives. Agencies, especially for public service activities, agencies are required to submit a request for funding. Their proposed activities, if they fit into the city's community plan, then the applications get reviewed, and if their proposed activities are in keeping with the city's goals and are a great benefit to the community, then generally, as we've done in the past, working closely with city staff, then the recommendation is made to City Council to award nominal funding to the agencies to carry out their activities. So Commissioner Torres and I believe Commissioner Patel, you were there? I'm not quite sure. No, I'm sorry, it was Commissioner Flowers. We met, and it's always a very rewarding committee to serve on. I encourage anyone who's never served on the CDBG subcommittee that you should try it at least once.
Good.
Commissioner Vice?
I am.
Okay. Commissioner Diaz? Okay. Thank you. Moving on, any other commissioner reports? So we'll start with Commissioner Diaz. Any reports?
No.
Commissioner Vice? Commissioner Gian, can't pronounce your last name.
Kablayan.
Kablayan.
I was able to go to the concert in the park, which was my first one after us living here for 30-something years, but it was great. I took my mom, who has Alzheimer's. She had an amazing time. She danced. She loved dancing, back in the day, and she just danced and she walked around. We had a great time. The music was great, and yeah, we're gonna going to do it more. It's good for her mental, it's good for, just for everything. But we had a great time. I was happy I went, new experiences, new to get out and do things differently. So yeah, I know we went somewhere else. I can't remember. All the days flow together. But yeah, that was good. I like that. That's it.
So I attended, and you attended, and I think you attended the library grand opening,
we did
grand opening. It went well, except for the hecklers. And then the council meeting we attended, so thank you for inviting us. I just wanted to say, the softball club is either going to replace the tree 8 foot tall or up to $200 is what I'm hearing. So so you know that.
Okay, thank you. Pretty much in terms of community events, I did attend the library reopening, and it was really amazing to see how many folks were there and their children. And I wasn't there for the heckler, but the hecklers just seem to be out. They're everywhere, so it doesn't matter where we go, they're there. And they're welcome as well. And I also attended that very long council meeting. I don't know what time it was over, but
1:30.
Excuse me?
I was watching it on TV.
Oh,
I was watching it and I just gave up.
They had 53 speakers.
Wow.
wow. But I do want to say it was an honor to be there to see our wonderful Parks Department receive their wonderful award and to be acknowledged in the front of the community. They had it was jam-packed, so it was really awesome. So I also attended a really beautiful annual carnival or festival at the Japanese Buddhist temple on, I believe it's Workman in West Covina, and that was a wonderful event. One day. And I haven't been, they have their event every year. I hadn't attended because COVID kind of just shut things down, and then they recently brought it back. So I encourage anyone who next year when they have it to attend the event. It's just culturally, it's just very, very beautiful, and it was very well attended by the community. And that's it for me.
Roxanne, do we know anything about
Let's let Commissioner, I'm sorry.
Go
Let's let Commissioner-
ahead.
No, sorry, you go.
Oh, I'll probably be long, go ahead.
That lot at Cameron Park, that's to the left field, that empty lot, it comes up a lot from the guys at the park.
Comes up a lot for us too, and
What's
they
happening with
had thrown out everything from pickleball to another softball field to various items. The thought process right now is that we are going to put grass on there and open it up for the time being, and that would be incorporated as part of the Parks Master Plan, because there are various options that are being floated around.
Yeah, good. 4th of July, great job. It was amazing to see how everything came together. No hiccups, so I really enjoyed that. I was able to bring my family, and the mayor gave us the shout out for whoever was there. I think all the commissioners that were there. So that was fun, and yeah, it went smooth. The face painting is always on my mind. I know I mentioned it to you, Roxanne, but it was funny that we talked about it and there was additional face painters, but it's always something. So just a quick funny story. My wife and my niece, my 18-year-old niece, were in line, and then they got to the front and they were like, no adults. And they waited for a while, so it's always, that was funny because I'm like laughing about it because we made sure to have more face painters this time. So just a note for next time, if there's a sign or a big sign that says no adults. But besides that, perfect. So 99.9% success besides the face painting. Yeah, it was great.
Even separate one for adults.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That's really cool. No, that's right there. There's smoke.
That's like in the courtyard.
Yeah.
No, that was very close.
What is it?
It's in the courtyard.
What happened?
What are the chances, right? Talking about 4th of July and then that happens.
It's unusual.
It was right under the flags.
And they left so much.
Right by the police department, right?
Right?
They heard
That out
you.
better.
Yeah.
But anyway, great job. Thanks again for the 4th of July. I went to the Palmview open house. That was great. Miguel was great. The whole staff was great. I really enjoyed that. And I met a lot of good people. And I got invited to Cameron Park because they do programming there, which I wasn't aware of. And they gave presentations. The students or clients that they have, they give end of the year presentations. So I was able to sit and watch all those. It was a really great experience, and the one negative thing that I did note is they have trouble with like the amount of people they have, seating. So there's just a note for future reference. One of the items that I suggested to the person who runs the program was maybe to see if we could have a Palmview staff there temporarily for like an hour. Because one of the biggest suggestions I got was, why can't we just go to Palmview Center? Like they really love Palmview Center, so when they go to Cameron, they don't feel as, I think, welcomed because there's so many different activities going on, which makes sense, and it's hard for them to get the attention they get at Palmview. So I think that's what's going on. So maybe some suggestions would be to have like a Palmview staff there for like an hour, just to help. Just because of the nature of their program, they have tons of kids there with special needs. There's all these things happening and they're trying to deal with all the other activities. And they said that they really love Miguel a lot. So I was like, well,
Another Miguel, huh?
we can't have Miguel here and there, but maybe a staff member just to be there to help.
Great, yeah. Okay, so yeah, and we have had conversations with Mount San Antonio College and their instructor, and there are conversations in regards to, I think there's some confusion in regards to enrollment, right? The student to coach ratio, allowing for space in that multi-purpose room for individuals with maybe ADA accessibility needs, movement. So there are conversations happening with Mount San Antonio College staff and our community services staff as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so besides that, it was an amazing experience to just see that happening there. The kids did a great job, or some of them are young adults already. And also attended the library opening, that was great, and the council meeting was great. I thought you did a really great job of introducing your staff and having everyone there. It was a really good experience, and I got to bring my daughter along to enjoy it, so that's all I have.
Very good. I went to Cortes Park, the Latin dance, and like $3 entrance, and they provided Porter's Bakery, a lot of fun, and I visited a whole center. They're like excellent inside. There's a pool table and kids, a lot of fun over there. So, food is good over there. We talked to people who come there.
What was on the menu?
Alzheimer's, center, there are a couple of people watching video games. Very, very nice. It's excellent. Good city.
Excellent.
30 years living.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Well, thank you. And I just one more comment before we move on to upcoming events and items to be agendized. Sorry. So just one more comment on a few things. So I want to thank staff for always keeping us in the loop on the upcoming events. It gives us, I know that we can calendar items or we can jump on the websites and things like that. We can talk to our neighbors to find out what's going on in the community. But given all that, I really appreciate that email that reminds me, and I put it on calendar, and I have the option, given everything else, to balance out whether or not I can attend, or oftentimes I'll speak to a fellow commissioner, are you attending this event? Maybe we can meet and do all that. So thank you very much, and please keep doing it.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you, it was very good.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, moving on to items to be agendized, I'm gonna open it up to fellow commissioners if there are any items that they would like to see on the agenda for our next upcoming meeting. Commissioner Diaz, anything?
I had a question. Last time we had spoken about like advertisement or how to generate more traffic into the farmer's market. Have you touched base on any of that yet?
We actually went out for an RFP for the farmer's market as well. Request for proposals. So we're operating on a month-to-month basis with our current operator. The reason that we are releasing an RFP is because I would like to say, 'tis the RFP season. So we're doing that with the farmer's market. We will be doing that with the Sportsplex. We're doing that Parks Master Plan. So it's a good way for us to see what else is out there. We're not commenting on, it's not a criticism, if you will, on the current operator, because the current operator is welcome to apply. Proposals for the farmer's market RFP are due on July 23rd. Now, in the current agreement with the operator, the one that we're operating on a month-to-month basis with, there are some requirements for them for publicizing, and then in addition to that, we do assist with making sure it's publicized on the auto reader, or excuse me, the auto plaza board. If you drive on the through, you'll notice that it's there. We have put it in the Discover as well.
Okay, I'll look next time.
It wasn't in the summer Discover, but we have put it in the Discover as well. So we'll continue to do that, and then when we establish a new relationship, whether it be with the current operator or a new operator, a lot of those details will be worked out contractually.
Let me understand, because this is all new to me. But so the operator is like the umbrella, and then they basically organize everything, and all the people get the people or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So that's the umbrella, and then they do all that. And
Correct.
So we have an RFP to see if there's a different operator that.
Or the same.
Or the same.
Yeah.
That could be that umbrella and bring and
Correct.
tweak some things, for
So-
lack of a better word.
Correct. And so what you'll hear often when we talk about companies and when we go out for bids, one of the first things that we do is an RFP, request for proposal. And the reason that we do it that way is that it's a very public process. And it allows us to be transparent. We tell those that are interested in proposing what we're looking for. We give them the opportunity to ask questions. We provide answers to the questions. We give them the opportunity to walk the sites. If it's a site that someone is, related to, whether it's a service or a project or a program even, they have that opportunity, and then they'll submit their proposals. There's evaluations done. We go through the proposals with a fine-tooth comb. And then we bring them back if it warrants interviews, because not all RFPs warrant interviews. A lot of them do, but not all of them do. Bring them back for an interview process. It's a process that allows us to be transparent and to be tracked and vetted. Exactly.
So how would someone who was interested in filling out an RFP, how would they know that we're accepting?
So if you visit the city's website, there is a link on the city's website to something called Planet Bids. I've shared that link with with Commissioner Torres before. It's Planet Bids. And on Planet Bids, they set up a free account, and that account gives them access to not only our RFPs, but RFPs from other cities that are looking for different projects or proposals, or you name it, it's out there. And it's a database, it's a one-stop shop for those who are interested in submitting proposals. They can do it there.
And people who do that know.
Exactly.
Basically sign up as a vendor through that and then it'll notify them when that bid opens.
Like, okay.
So,
Good to know. Thank you.
go ahead.
I just said thank you.
Oh, okay. So, and I've said this to her on the webs, on West Covina Buzz. She puts out on Sunday that the farmer market's the following Saturday. And they said you should be putting this out on Friday, that the farmer's market is Saturday. But she doesn't like compute that. And she's going, it's the upcoming Saturday. I go, yeah, it's the Saturday that just passed and everybody missed your farmer's market. So there's, and she's got 7 regular vendors maybe. There's a little bit right now more. But where did you come from, Susie? Monrovia or Doherty?
Doherty.
Okay, Monrovia has a fantastic, beautiful,
Everything,
so does, there's so many around that are really viable farmers markets, and ours is a little embarrassing. So good for you for putting an RFP out. If nothing else, it will tell her she needs to pick up her game. And I don't think that that's being mean or cruel. We have probably the biggest city around us, and we have a farmer's market with 7 vendors. We can do better.
Mount Sac College Walnut is very good one. Mount Sac College,
Yep.
parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
big now, expanded.
What day is theirs? Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah.
It's
Sunday is Claremont.
Saturday,
Oh, Sunday?
a lot of places.
Yeah.
So, I'd be interested in,
Yeah.
if you put a committee together
Well, thank
to
you.
look at those RFPs.
We can give you, we can put it on the agenda and update.
And then, does that RFP have to be the same location?
For the farmer's market? Yes, it is the same location. We've given the proposers, the potential proposers, some other options. We've expanded the footprint, should they, whoever it is, decide to grow. We've incorporated, or we've identified the lakes area as part of that footprint as well.
Oh, okay, so that would be a partnership with the lakes.
Yeah, we've incorporated certain areas. Glendora Avenue, we stretched it a little bit, and then we also went down, oh my gosh, what is that? Glendora Square.
Is there any restaurants there on the lake area?
There are.
What would
There's Pete Anna's Pizza, there's a coffee shop, and you have the
Inside,
wings.
inside
There's
the
Far
theater,
East
yeah.
joints, ice cream.
In the ice cream on the outside, you have the sushi, so
Oh,
Covina.
yeah, on the outside, I
Yeah,
know, but I mean in the
there's one
inside.
It's the
On the inside, she's talking about on the
North,
no
there's
restaurants.
no, it's on the corner.
There's a hookah, a Mediterranean place.
Yeah, there's restaurants that have restrooms, but no restrooms for the farmer's market. But you can walk through it in 5 minutes, so.
And there's actually restrooms on Glendora, on South Glendora
Oh,
Avenue.
you're right.
Next to, I think, the sushi restaurant.
Yes, it is.
It's
There is
in
a
that
public
building.
restroom. Yes,
Public
there
restroom.
absolutely is.
Well, has anybody else, are you guys finished? I just wanted to say something about our police department.
Well,
When you
let's move on
finish,
to Commissioner Patel. Are there any items that you would like agendized for our next meeting? Okay. Commissioner Torres?
Yes, I do. I wanted to, I'm still trying to think about what exactly we should propose, but for the next agenda, I was trying to see what we could propose as far as homelessness, based on that long meeting that was had for the council. I'm not really sure how to frame, I guess, the ask, but some ideas I had was having some type of commission-hosted listening session for the public to come in and just discuss the topic of homelessness, or have a more direct item that speaks to the Pathway Homes project or the community or the city's current efforts in homelessness. Basically trying to allow the public to know that the commission is another avenue for them to voice their opinions and to be a voice for them to the council as an advisory body. So something like that to be on the next agenda to discuss. I don't know if we could
Wouldn't that
nail
go
it
to the
down.
ad hoc committee?
Just to add to that, I had, from one of our previous commission meetings, I believe that we had discussed the homelessness initiative plan. I don't have the exact wording of it. And I believe that plan had not been updated since 2017. So maybe we could start there.
So you're requesting a presentation on, okay.
I think they're two separate things.
Yes, they are.
But she's
Yeah.
asking for to start there is what she's asking.
As a start.
The city's homelessness plan, and then the one you're talking about, the homelessness initiative, was like a different effort.
Right. They're
So,
connected though.
you think so? Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know how.
Is that the responsibility of this group?
The
To hear
subcommittee.
the subcommittee, to hear the public responses to what took place at City Hall? I'm just questioning.
I don't think it's necessarily to say what took
Suggestion.
place, but I think it's important to have some sort of avenue for them to express their opinions and have another.
Because of the nature, we will run that by the city manager. That way, we want to honor what the body is looking for, the commission is requesting, but at the same time, we do have to balance it. So we will run that by the city manager.
Yeah, that was just an idea. Those are the ideas that came to mind, like a public listening session where we're basically here to hear their opinions, get their ideas, and then try to share that as a commission. Or we could just proceed as normal and do nothing and just not be involved at all.
For homeless, we're gonna talk
Or
about
I
it.
don't think
I
that's
think
our
that they step
position.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I think that falls under the city council, the 5, not for us to,
That's how I feel.
yeah,
I think the 53 speakers made it clear
yeah.
what they think and how they feel.
Well, I think just maybe for a little bit of clarification, I don't believe that the point that Commissioner Torres is raising is to actually, for this body as a commission, to take on that responsibility that is that of the city council. But this body does have a homeless subcommittee, and that committee does include Commissioner Patel, myself, and Commissioner Mason.
I understand that.
And
I
part
understand
of that would be to have that general discussion, not to take anything from
You're right.
the role of a council member. So that would be a normal thing that this body would discuss. And I believe it was brought up in 2021, but I'm not sure. I remember it being on our agenda.
Yeah, in 2021, we asked, I think, for some insight on the homelessness initiative that was talked about, but I don't think there was any clear idea of what that was yet. I think it was one of our Zoom meetings we had where we were made aware of the homelessness initiative, that the council met with members of the nonprofit organizations. They had this initiative to go, but I don't think we got any sort of clear description of what that was at the time.
Serious problem in every city right now,
Yeah, so,
It's all over.
and it wouldn't be specific to what the Pathway Homes project at all. That's one aspect that came up at that meeting. This is more of a general
Yeah, it is.
outreach to the community, say, there's a listening session that we're gonna have at the Community and Senior Services Commission. They come, they talk about whatever they wanna talk about.
We're gonna run that by the city manager. Like I said, my goal is always to honor, what is within this body's jurisdiction. We can provide presentations more for the sake of knowledge. We're happy to do that to an extent because of the nature of this particular topic. We're gonna run it by the city manager. I understand what you're saying about there is a nexus with the subcommittee, the homeless subcommittee. I understand perhaps having an update on the homeless initiative that was originally discussed in 2021. I understand that plan. As far as a listening session goes for the community to come out and voice, it sounds like voicing, their opinions. That piece, we're gonna run by the city manager. I have a duty and obligation to do that.
Homeless, just a 5-star motels. Convert to homelessness, use that, right?
We're not gonna discuss the pathway housing
That's
project.
burning issue, there are opposition.
But we're talking about, for right now, for sake of meeting time and out of respect for everyone's time, for this portion of our agenda is only to plan for what topics will be discussed at our next meeting. Our subcommittee does plan to meet.
Sure,
and
but
then
we will discuss details
that.
with some idea. I don't waste everybody's time on this, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
We can on and on this one.
Right.
Yeah, and then the listening session, like I said, it's just an idea I had. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could be, like you said, a presentation on the homelessness initiative, maybe updating the homelessness plan that we have. I don't know if we actually have a document. I think we might.
I think we do.
That has like
Is-
something
I
that
have a
we
question.
can talk
Is the
about.
Hope team included on your subcommittee?
They came and did presentations.
Are they part of the
before.
committee?
No, we're trying to
Should they
formulate
be?
our committee. They should be.
They should be.
Yep.
Or at the very least, I mean, I think, from time to time, the subcommittee should have an interaction with them.
So I raised the concern about that only because I don't think that we need to hear from the public what they already heard at the council meeting. That could be a duplication. I'm open to hearing information, but not to hear the grief about what happened at the council meeting.
Right,
And I
yeah.
think Assistant City Manager Lerma said it best. You're looking to get some guidance from City Manager's office, and we'll be open to that. So.
Good.
We're trying to agendize some items. Did you have an item? or-
Did you have something else, Robert?
Yeah, so that one, I don't know how we would agendize it. Eventually, what you get feedback from the city manager and see how we can agendize it. It could even be something, discussion on homelessness, something general on the next meeting, and then we could talk about it more like we're doing now.
Yeah, it might even include the community development block grant, 5-year consolidated plan, because that does have sections in it where the city does discuss its perspective on data here in the city and how it mitigates all of these very delicate situations. But that's in writing, and that has to get updated I think it's every 5 years. So we could take small steps in that direction. So I think my concern, and I might be parroting what Commissioner Torres is saying, is that sometimes there are topics that come up in the commission when we meet that we want agendized, and then we get busy. And then we move on, and then we don't have quorum, and then maybe months go by, and then we lose track of items that were important enough to be agendized at that time, and then they were not addressed for whatever reasons, whether it's absenteeism or whatever. But so that this topic is not fresh, and it is back from either 2021 or 2022. It was on the agenda, so it's not something new.
Yeah.
You said it was a Zoom meeting?
I think it was a Zoom meeting.
That was
Yeah, I
2021.
try to look at, because when it came up, I try to look at when was the last time we discussed it. And I think it was 2021, we asked for some clarification, and then at the meeting, you said you didn't have anything to share because you weren't familiar with what the initiative was yet, so I think we just moved on. I think we talked about the homeless count, and that was it. But again, it's not necessarily to be focused on the current issue, obviously, that's a contentious issue. I'm hoping just to create, I'm capitalizing on it because everyone's into, that's a hot topic, where it would just hopefully develop some sort of regular meeting where we could all talk about the issue of homelessness, not specific to that program or that site or anything like that, but just to let the community know, hey, here's another avenue for you to come talk to us about homelessness. Maybe they have ideas, maybe we get nonprofits to come share things. Just have an open dialogue continually, rather than it coming to the forefront when there's issues like the whole Pathway Home Project and the hotel.
Right.
Because generally that's what happens, I think, in my experience.
Robert, I'm sorry. That sounds like that's something that would happen in the subcommittee, where if you wanted to invite a nonprofit to educate you on, homelessness efforts, then the subcommittee would come back and report to the commission. That's what I'm hearing that you're looking for. So that's what I'm understanding, right? Is if you're looking for that educational piece, whether it's meeting with the HOPE team, getting statistics on monthly numbers of our homeless count, or what efforts were made in the city. Jerry provided an update on that encampment. That sounds like something that can absolutely happen in the subcommittee, and then the subcommittee would report out on the findings.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then but the key components to everything is public involvement.
Right, and everybody has an opportunity to come to a commission meeting. And so, if it's something that's agendized, or, maybe that's something that you report out on, and then.
It is a serious issue. Many cities tried for many, many years. Still doesn't solve the problem yet. There's millions of dollars already on that, right?
Billions.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes, right? America spent hundreds of $1 billions out of other countries. Yet they can't spend a lot of money to take up homeless. That's the main issue.
Right.
We can talk and talk and talk, then we use what we can do.
We're going to, as far as this body opening its doors to being a listening, to listening to comments, suggestions, concerns, that is the question that you're proposing. I'm going to run that by the city manager.
Right.
I don't see a need for us to revisit the Pathway Homes project. That was something that the city council gave an opinion on, the community gave an opinion on at the last city council meeting. I'm happy to ask the question, but that's the extent right now. We're not going to debate whether we're doing that or not right now.
Yeah, we can debate on and on.
Yeah, and it could even be a special meeting of the Community Service Commission, where we say, we're inviting people.
City council,
discussion.
mayor, that's one. City council should have meeting, mayor, they work on homelessness. That's the main thing.
Right, yeah, and like I said, it's just another opportunity and avenue for people. Because some people don't feel comfortable going to the council meetings. They might be a little contentious. So a good example would be to have a special meeting and say, come to the Community and Senior Services Commission meeting on homelessness dialogue.
So that's a good suggestion for the subcommittee for that, since they're gonna set up a meeting, because they said they're gonna meet within a short period of time. That's a good subject for them, once they get information from
We'll discuss
the
it with the
city
homeless.
council.
Give some
Manager.
suggestions.
I don't think the subcommittee can legally have a open forum.
No, it would be at our level here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it's something for
Well, I
for the
think
Can we
homelessness
move on
subcommittee.
and table that until we get the answer?
Direction
From Roxanne or Susan?
Yeah.
And I think that would be the best one, because we can sit here and go back and forth and we'll never get out of here. So let's wait for their opinion and then we can follow from there.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Baez.
Well, I had one more item to maybe agendize, and that was Cameron Park. I think last year, we had asked as a commission we had asked to have a community meeting at the park to discuss the development. And that was also something that just sort of.
The development of the park, that park space, that
Yeah, the
empty
park
lot.
space.
So like Roxanne had mentioned earlier in tonight's meeting, that's all gonna be tied into the parks master plan. And so that area there, once the parks master plan is awarded to one of the firms, then that's when the stakeholders, the commission, is going to have the opportunity to have engagement in regards to that space at Cameron Park. So that's the direction that we would like to take with that. Is that what you're asking? Or is there a different space?
No, that's fine.
Was there a different, is that a different space that we were
Well,
referring to?
Because the topic of having a community meeting for that particular space happened, the request was made almost a year ago. And so fast forward to now, with the landscape, the park master plan being almost in place, it does change the need for a community meeting there. So if the RFP and the stakeholder who is going to be administering, the development of the park is going to host and hold a couple of community meetings.
Several.
Then that would
Several.
fill that gap.
Yes.
Okay.
Several. They have to hold several meetings.
Okay.
It's just real quick, I give a call over to PD to take a look at the
Fireworks.
That was already written in.
Robert, were you gonna add
Yeah, I have
police tour?
Did we get that award?
What's that?
Were you gonna add
No,
police
right.
tour to our agenda?
Oh, I don't think we need to, that's gonna be.
We will agendize that, correct, Roxanne?
That's
That was
correct.
just-
Yeah, they already,
Yeah.
they already want to do that, yeah.
I just wanna make sure you didn't miss it.
That's gonna be, so it's basically gonna be part of the agenda just early, we're gonna start earlier?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
It would be classified as a special meeting because we're starting earlier.
Okay.
okay. And just so you guys know, that would be a tour of the police station, and it would be about 45 to 50 minutes. And then after the tour of the police station, we would just come here and have our regular meeting.
When is that going to be?
Thank you for arranging.
The next time,
September 10th.
September 10th.
Why was it canceled today?
We needed to agendize it since it's considered a meeting. I have one more thing. It's completely separate from all the other discussions. So I was out at Ridge Riders Park. For those of you who don't know, we have a equestrian center called Ridge Riders. And I met Callie. She's from Social Model Recovery Systems, and she does horse therapy there. And it was really great to see all the patients come in from the different facilities, interact with the horse, and she also had a pony. And so she has a partnership with Social Model Recovery Systems, and she brings her horses there for them to interact. And it's like horse therapy, or they call it equine therapy. So I had a really good conversation with her. So one of the ideas I had was to introduce her to Miguel from Palmview, and I mentioned it to Vanessa as well, to see if the Palmview Center can somehow incorporate her services and the students could visit the park and pet the horses and the pony and interact and get some of that equine therapy. I think it would be really good for the special needs attendees at Palmview. And so far, just mentioning it to Callie, she said she was open to it. I mentioned it to Miguel and Vanessa, and they said that sounded like a good idea and that they would try to talk to her. But I don't know if we can just leave it at that, or if it's good to agendize something like that on our next meeting. To see if we could get that program, a program like that established.
So, if I understood correctly, we're going to go ahead and handle that at the staff level. We'll follow up with you directly, Commissioner Torres, for contact information for Kelly. And then I'm not sure if her services are free or if there's a fee involved, so we can do all of the legwork with Miguel on that and see what that would look like cost-wise.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. No one else? Before we adjourn, I just want to bring your attention to upcoming events. And please take the time to look at the calendar. I know that the staff will be sending us the calendar with dates. And with all that said, I want to thank everyone for attending today's meeting, and especially thank staff, and we look forward to working with you again, Susie. So, amazing.
This is your last meeting with us?
This is
Okay.
only on an as-needed basis.
So before we adjourn, I'd like to know if we can add the West Covina cleanup days in August to our calendar. I don't think we're doing a good job letting residents know. And so if we can start pushing and promoting that to clean up our neighborhoods, that would be fantastic. It's every Friday in August.
Doesn't, doesn't
On your
the,
sheet,
So you just send them
garbage
separate
out.
emails.
On the
Separate
Friday.
email
But
with those
Anthem
dates.
sends a notice on.
No, they haven't.
Oh, but they
Yeah.
do.
They
I
haven't.
had made a note.
They haven't done it since COVID.
Commissioner Fisher,
Can you
well,
explain it?
So
They
what,
did it last year as well.
I'm sorry,
I believe they did the cleanups last year as well.
Yeah, they did.
did they?
Yeah, they did them last
Okay.
year.
So, what the cleanup is on your trash day, the Saturday of your.
It's set up by the date of your service.
Yes.
It's listed, if it's Monday, it's on a certain Saturday, if it's Tuesday, certain Saturday, so
So it's
I'll
every
get those out.
Saturday, depending on what day your trash day is.
Yeah.
You just put your garbage out on your curb,
And
not
they'll
your
pick it up on
garbage, but
Saturday.
any bulky items, any appliances, any junk or debris you have on your property, you put it out on your curb and they come and pick it up.
Oh my God.
And you don't have to call.
You can let your neighbors. know.
Commissioner
Yeah.
Fisher, since
And you
the
said
next
every-
meeting isn't until September,
Correct.
Deb will be sending out a separate email to all of you commissioners with the event flyer and all of those dates, so you have that available.
So just noted, I am out of the country for September. September 10th is my birthday and I will be in Italy. So I will not be here in September.
With that said, meeting adjourned at 8:10.
Thank you.
Thank you.